Hi there, Phil here. So this is tip 7.2, diagnosing nutrient deficiencies. Now in a general garden situation with foliage plants or lawns, you really don't have to worry too much about the nutrients. They're probably in balance okay. It's in the situation with plants that produce a lot of flowers, such as roses, the production of the flowers and their removal by you actually results in the plant requiring more nutrients than is actually available to it. And this is more particularly so with fruit trees and also cropping plants such as tomatoes or peppers, where the plant puts a lot of effort into producing fruit, which we then remove from the plant and then consume, and we don't return that into the soil. So these are the ones that usually show the symptoms that we have to be particularly concerned about. In those cases, I strongly recommend that you return compost to the soil. The copious return of organic matter into the soil will help to resolve this problem, as I'm doing in my garden. So I don't get all sciencey about this. I don't do soil tests. I don't send material off to a laboratory to find out. I simply rely on my own practices to maintain good nutrient balance. I also do some simple nutrient tests, which I'm going to show you here, which you're able to do at home without any technical process whatsoever. In particular, I'll be discussing citrus. So citrus such as these here are the canaries in the mine when it comes to the excessive loss of nutrients to the plant. So plants take up nutrients usually from the soil, and then they use it in the production of their fruit, and also all their other living parts. When the plant part gets older, they will remove the nutrients, if they can, from within the plant, the nutrients they've already taken up, and they will take it to the new growing areas where it is of most use to the plant. If a nutrient can be transported easily, that is what the plant will do, and that is usually the case with what are called the macronutrients, the ones that are most used by the plants. The plant in this case is actually short on magnesium, which is quite common with citrus, which tends to be the canary in the coal mine. These younger leaves here are looking quite healthy and a deep and attractive green. Usually leaves are paler green when they're young, so that's quite healthy. The plant has taken its magnesium from elsewhere in the plant and transported it to this part here, and also to the fruit, as you can see there. But on the older leaves, where the plant has removed the nutrients, you can see that magnesium deficiency is showing. So it is displayed here as what is called interveinal chlorosis. The veins have remained dark green, that is the midrib, and also the lateral veins, and the central part of the leaf between the veins has gone yellowy, which is called chlorosis, death of the chlorophyll, that is. So therefore I can pretty accurately say that this plant is short on magnesium, mildly so anyway. This is my own fault really. I have done a few of the right things. I've got the plants on a raised bed, as you can see here, and also I've put plenty of organic matter around the roots. But what I have done, which isn't so good, I've grown too many plants around there. So shortly I'm intending to remove some of these plants, put them somewhere else in my garden, and just simply put permanent mulch around there. Citrus is a very shallow rooted plant, so therefore the surface roots are competing with these other garden plants that I'm growing here, and the citrus plant is missing out. I'll illustrate with this diagram. Most plants prefer the soil to be neutral, that is, neither too acid nor too alkaline. Extremes in acidity affect the uptake of particular nutrients. Soil acidity is measured by pH 7 being neutral. A range of 6 to 7 is ideal. pH can be measured using a simple test kit available at garden shops. Few plants prefer an alkaline soil, however some prefer an acid one. This includes blueberries, rhododendron, camellia, daphne. Never add lime or wood ash to these plants. Garden shops do have fertilizers that increase acidity if necessary. You can do a lot to improve the nutrient levels quite simply. Legumes such as beans or peas have root nodules that fix nitrogen from the air and make it available for future crops. You can see in this photograph that I've removed broad beans or faba beans that have finished cropping, and I've laid them down beside my sweet corn plants. Deep-rooted herbaceous plants such as these flowering carrots draw nutrients from deep in the soil and make it available for following crops if the leaves are left on the surface using the chop and drop system. Some plants have a high need for nutrients. This includes nitrogen, such as spinach and salad greens, magnesium, such as the citrus I'm showing here, roses, tomatoes and peppers, or potassium, most fruit and vegetables. Plants may remove these nutrients faster than they are replenished, resulting in a deficiency. Often a deficiency in particular nutrients can be determined by a simple analysis, as I'm about to show you. So just a reminder, plants can move some nutrients from old leaves to young shoots as needed. Other elements are mobile. This can be a way of determining deficiencies, as I'm showing in this diagram. Nitrogen, this nutrient is essential for plant growth. A deficiency usually shows as an even yellowing of older leaves while new shoots are fresh and green. In this case, undecomposed organic matter was dug into the soil before the tomatoes were planted. The organisms that break this material down have taken all the nitrogen that would have been available to the tomato plants. Here I show my own tomato plants where instead I have dug in my mature compost, which contributes nitrogen rather than robbing it. As you can see, there are no deficiency symptoms. Phosphorus. Phosphorus is another key element that is readily transferred through the plant. Deficiency usually shows as a dull purpling or bronzing of older leaves, particularly on brassicas. Some brassicas naturally have this feature, so you do need to be aware of this. Potassium. Plants use potassium particularly for the production of flowers and fruit. A shortage of potassium is displayed as a burning of leaf tips and margins among older leaves, as on these New Zealand flax plants or phormium. This symptom can also be a sign of root disorders such as under or overwatering. Magnesium, as I'm showing on this ibutalon, a deficiency is indicated by interveinal chlorosis, a yellowing of the areas between the veins of old leaves, while the veins themselves stay green. This avocado is showing the same symptom. I've already shown how these citrus plants are showing mold magnesium symptoms. Now I'll move on to the nutrients that are less able to be transferred through the plants. So therefore deficiencies are shown on the younger leaves rather than the older ones. This is less common than with those previous ones that I mentioned, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, because they are micronutrients, that is trace elements that are required in less quantity by the plants. So therefore we see that less commonly. Iron, a shortage of iron is revealed when the interveinal parts of young leaves become bright green, while the older leaves remain ordinary green. As I'm showing on the citrus tree, the symptoms are similar to magnesium deficiency, but on young leaves. Sulfur, as I show on another citrus tree, deficiency is indicated by an even yellowing right across younger leaves. So that's without the interveinal chlorosis, but across the leaf, and the leaves are quite often small and narrow. So that's it for this tip. I hope you found this useful. Just a reminder to press the like button on this and also subscribe if you haven't done so, and also share it with friends. That is useful for me in spreading my channel around. And also, of course, as always, thank you very much for watching this through to the end.